Whoa! Very smooth. Yeah. Get a scooter, she said. It'll be fun, she said. Are you actually okay?
Properly hurt.
Hello.
So today we've come down to my neck of the woods in the south.
Down south. Arundel it's called, right?
Arundel.
Never even heard of this
You're
place.
nearly getting there.
Sounds like something from Lord of the Rings.
It's a very cool place. And we've got the brand new Panasonic G90 to test out today.
Yep.
We're gonna do some video,
Yep.
some stills, and
Yep.
check out what it can do. The sky is super bright today. It's really, really whited out. And obviously, because it's a brand new camera, and while we're filming this, it's not even out yet, so we don't have a RAW profile for it. We can only use the JPEGs from the camera. So what I'm trying to do is just manage those shadows, those highlights to make sure I don't lose anything. And actually it's pretty easy on this because you've got a histogram that you can just drag around with your finger on the back screen, put it somewhere that's easy for you, move it around dependent on your composition. And it just means I can manage what I'm shooting. It's really nice to see a fully articulated screen on this. So be easy to, one, film yourself, and two, not have to lay on the floor when you take nice low down shots. And you can put it like that for a party.
Party time.
Party time. Loads of them in Arundel.
So before we just carry on taking some random pictures and video, it's probably good to actually tell you guys about the spec, because I don't know, I've seen some camera videos before, and that seems to be a thing, yeah, a common trait throughout them all.
Tell you about the camera.
Yeah, so should we go through the headline specs?
Yes, so this is a G90, so it sits just above the G80 and just below the G9 in the Panasonic range. It's a micro four thirds camera, obviously interchangeable lens, and it's 20.3 megapixel MOS sensor with no low pass filter. So it should be pretty sharp for stills, which is nice. We've got 5-axis image stabilisation, or dual image stabilisation, which gives you 5 stops of stabilisation, which is pretty good, especially for a body of this size, because it is much smaller than a G9 and GH5. It's less chunky. It weighs about 536 grams, I think.
Fun fact, just to interrupt there, 20% lighter than a GH5S and around 30% lighter than a G9.
Yes, that's the first time I've heard that.
Did a bit of research, you see.
Definitely haven't been told that multiple times this morning.
I've said it at least 3 or 4 times.
So proud of maths.
I used an online calculator to work out the percentage.
Well done.
Anyway.
So the body itself, again, it's got a lot of manual controls, which is nice for this type of body, especially as it's smaller.
Yeah, you've got all the controls that you'd want there.
Yeah, 100%, which is nice, as I say, because I was expecting it to have less when we were getting it sent through.
Yeah.
The only thing it is missing, which we've both commented on this morning, is a joystick, which is annoying.
Yeah, I like to call it nipple. That's what I think of when yeah, I mean, that's a bit, okay.
It's missing a joystick.
Joystick, we'll go with joystick.
It does have a fully articulated screen though, so that's a saving grace for it.
Yep.
Ports wise, very good for you.
Yeah, so you've got HDMI, it's not full-size HDMI unfortunately, but you've still got HDMI out. You've got a microphone in and a headphone jack out, which is nice for, obviously, audio is a big part of it. In terms of video recording spec, it can do 4K 30 frames a second, and that is continuously unlimited, which is quite nice for a camera of this this price point. Same with HD as well, it's unlimited. And it's also the least expensive LUMIX camera you can buy that will actually give you V-LogL, included for free in there, which is great, because, with the S1 you have to pay for that. Yes. Well, it's full V-Log, not V-LogL, so, it's one of those things. Yeah. But in terms of slow motion, you can do HD up to 120 frames a second as well, which is pretty decent. Yeah. So we'll test them out today and see how we get on. It's
sort of a compromise, isn't it? It's very much a hybrid between GH5 and G9, but a bit smaller and a bit like less expensive.
It's a fraction of the cost of those two.
And it means it misses out on some good things. For example, the port, it's a micro USB port.
Everything should be USB-C.
It should be USB-C. There's no excuse for that. This is brand new. There's no reason for that. But again, you've probably got some around because, over the last 10 years, you've probably collected some. We do have single SD, again, not surprising because they're not going to do the same as the G9 for this.
Yeah, let's face it, you're probably not going to be using this camera if you're professional and relying on having a backup.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing that did annoy us is, again, it's the smaller battery that's used in sort of the less professional range, which is probably good for some people, not great for us because we've got loads of the other battery.
Yeah, if you have a GH5, a GH4 or a G9, you're going to need to buy some other batteries if you're looking at this as a B cam.
These are the BLC12E, just so you know, but these are pretty readily available. I'm pretty sure that's what's in the FZ1000 series, so there's quite a few about. Checking out the claim that Panasonic make that this is perfect for one-handed operation because it's so light. It's quite light, to be fair.
20% lighter?
I'd say nearly 30%.
Well, yeah.
Rather than G9, yeah. Just getting a nice picture of this knocker. I'm loving having this articulating screen today. Coming to a place like this, everything's on an angle, so trying to get any straight pictures. It's really nice having that, and actually it is very light to use this camera. It's got the 12-60 on it as a kit lens. It's not the one that's kitted with the G9, it's the higher aperture version, so it's not going to be as good in things like low light, but for this, it's just a super light lens and quite a light body. So for when you're just doing this all day, it makes it a lot more usable. My weak little arms. One of my favourite things to do with lenses like this is to stick it in manual focus and take it to the most macro end it can go, just to really check out, because it never focuses down to what you can actually get it to for some reason. I find that a lot with lenses, that you can put them at their most macro end. If you're doing manual focus, you can actually get a lot more out of them than you can if you just let the camera focus itself. Tell you what, this is some hard work. Oh, jeez. The stuff we do for Wex, unbelievable.
So whilst Amy was busy driving the boat, I had an opportunity to get some test shots in 4K on the G90. So all of this, what you're seeing, has been shot in V-Log, and as you can see, it mixes quite well with my GH5S's V-Log footage. I would say on the G90 though, you don't get a V-Log assist view, so you have no way of previewing that very flat V-Log footage whilst you're shooting. If you've not shot V-Log before, this is what it looks like on camera, and then of course, this is what it looks like graded. But overall, I think the footage looks pretty pleasing.
So as we've come up the river, there's some ducks and things swimming about in the water, and as this is not a rowboat, it's a motorboat, they do seem to move as we get nearer to them. So I've stuck this in autofocus continuous and we've put it on tracking, and then it's got a burst rate of 9 frames per second. So I'm going to see if I can get a nice picture of some of the birds moving through the water quickly with some splashes. That would be lovely. We're not going to scare them though on purpose, obviously. Both of us are quite wildlife loving people, so it's only if it happens.
I mean, yeah, I love wildlife.
It was really good planning that I only bought the 12-60 kit lens today.
You're expecting these birds to get quite close then, yeah?
So we've got a snipe just to the left here on the mud beach. I'm hoping he's gonna stick around. There's nothing there.
Excellent stalker of prey here.
Just checking back through some of the images. It's much easier to check them in the viewfinder right now because it's such a bright day, even with a nice bright screen. You can't really see what you're doing. But we've had a few birds sort of flitting about and that. I mean, realistically, this isn't a wildlife setup, is it? It's got 12-60 on it. But it has actually been locking on quite easily. We had what I think was a little snipe on the mud bank back there. Really tiny bird that's brown coloured against a brown bank. And it was a dot in the viewfinder of this thing, and it's still locked onto it. And when the snipe moved about, it did follow it, so I was really impressed with that. It's got a 0.07 second autofocus speed, which is incredibly quick. Now, obviously, when manufacturers quote, you know, the speeds of autofocus, some of it you can take with a pinch of salt because that will be in the most idealistic conditions. Whereas today, actually, there's a lot of movement. The sides have very contrasty light, so actually it's probably not that easy to pick out a small bird, and it did that well, so that's nice to know. So we've got the emergency oar out now. Kriss is holding that. We're going to stick this in 4K photo, which is one of Panasonic's most beloved features. So it means you hold your finger down on the shutter button, it sort of takes a small set of video stills, and then afterwards you can flick through those stills and pick out the ones you want to keep. You get an 8 megapixel still from it, but it means you can capture action shots really well. So Kriss is going to smash the oar against the water, and we're going to see what we can get with it. So we've just brought the boat back and everything was looking a little bit low on battery. The G90 had about 1 bar left, I think. The Sennheiser XSWD mic kit that I'm using today was dead. So we've got Kriss's OmniCharge big portable charger thing, and we're charging them both by USB at the moment. And the G90, obviously, we're charging through micro USB as well. So it's a really nice portable little kit, this, and it just means you can charge everything on the go. The sun is slowly setting and we've headed down to Littlehampton Beach, which is very calm and very pretty. So we're just going to get the last of our shots here.
Before we lost the light, I wanted to check out the slow motion recording capabilities on the G90. Can do 120 frames per second in full HD, and that's what you're seeing here. Now annoyingly, it's one of those modes where you don't get any control of your ISO, your aperture, or your shutter speed. It's an automatic slow motion mode. So you've kind of just got to hope for the best. Now this was shot in V-Log, and I think it is too much for this camera. There are a lot of artifacts there in the image, so probably not something that I would use personally. Another thing that I noticed early in the day that I wanted to test out is that there is a crop in 4K and in slow motion recording. So this is normal speed, full HD with no crop. And then this is full HD at 120 frames per second, so the slow motion mode, of course, with a significant crop going on there. And back to the full HD without a crop. And this is the crop with 4K. Not as much as the crop in full HD, but of course there is still a significant crop there, something definitely worth noting.
I thought I'd just try the eye autofocus on this, on continuous focus, just to see what it was like. To be honest, I wasn't expecting amazing things because a lot of cameras do struggle, especially in this sort of light. And actually, it was awesome. Picked up Kriss straight away. We also did it against that background, so it's a slightly messier background than just doing it against the sea, because obviously it's quite an easy thing to lock onto a head when you're just against a very pale blue sea. But it picked up his eyes, and it only lost it a couple of times. That's when he was really, really darting about. Here's the sequence. You can see there's actually pretty much all of them are in focus. So I was actually quite impressed with this thing. Our day has come to an end with the Panasonic G90. The sun has just gone down and we are now going to get fish and chips. Yeah?
Well, I'm a vegetarian, so I'll just get chips, but you can indulge.
I don't really like fish either.
Okay, well, we're just having chips then, aren't we? We are obviously, you have to have chips at least.
Yeah, exactly,
yeah.
Got to find some way to get the seagulls closer for those high burst straight shots.
And we have worked off a lot of calories today.
Oh, yeah. Hard work, all that rowing.
Yes, rowing.
So the G90, it's been really, really good to use today. It's a perfect hybrid.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed using it. It's so lightweight, so easy to get those shots. You've got that in-body stabilisation as well, which makes it super easy. You don't need to worry about. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there are compromises both sides. So if you want to be negative and figure out reasons why this isn't the camera for you, then yeah, of course, there's compromises for both stills and video. Yeah,
there's always going to be a compromise when it's a hybrid camera.
Exactly, yeah. You've got that crop on 4K.
Slight 4K crop, annoying. What about stills? What are the issues for you?
Micro Four Thirds always going to be not as good in low light situations. We've been pretty lucky with having quite bright light today, so it's not going to be a problem. Yeah. It'd be nice to have a few more megapixels, but obviously again that's a compromise. The lower the megapixels, especially for video, it's better. It's better for low light situations.
Get them lower.
Yeah. Kriss is like 8 megapixel.
Yeah, get it way low.
But like not having 6K photo, having 4K photo instead. Obviously you've got single card slot, you've got that smaller battery in there. Yeah. There are a few things that I'd like to see, but it's never going to be the case in a camera.
It's never going to live up to the GH5S, the G9,
and there's no point in comparing,
and it's priced accordingly for that.
Exactly, yeah. So as a hybrid, if you want something to go travelling with, you want a nice small body, something that's nice and tough, dust resistant, splash resistant. Yep. You've got video features. You can do some sort of self-vlogging as well, and actually have a headphone port as well as a mic port. Because let's face it, how many cameras do that now?
What a luxury that is nowadays with these cheaper mic. Cameras.
Who knows if it's working? So you've got that in there, but you've also got that good photo capability. You do have 4K photo for those action moments.
Yep.
Tracking, really super impressed with. That worked so well today. especially the eye tracking as well. That was
I was
fantastic.
pleasantly surprised. I'm actually in focus, and I was moving. I'm quite agile. I don't know if you know, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if the photos do it justice, but I was moving very quickly. Quite the athlete.
Yeah. But the 4K photo worked really, really well as well. So there's just everything that is in it does seem to work pretty nicely, which is good, because you often get cameras where they're packed full of features and half of them you're like, oh well, I'll never use that again.
Bit rubbish. Yeah, literally just a gimmick.
No, I mean Panasonic are pretty good at shoving everything in. It does seem to work quite nicely. So if you want something that's a hybrid between stills and video, and you're looking at around this sort of price point, this is a really good alternative. And you also have those lenses. Micro Four Thirds, you can adapt to pretty much
plethora of
anything.
lenses.
There's adapters and
use whatever you want to with it. Pretty much everything will fit to Micro
which
Four
is
Thirds.
very good.
Yeah.
So if you need any more information on the G90, you can pop onto the website. There's loads of info on there. You can pop onto our blog. We've written a whole load on there. If you haven't got enough of us already,
if you want more of Amy and Chris, just watch the rest of our videos. Honestly, get those view counts up. We'll take them. Watch this one again. Go back to the beginning. Refresh that page. Preferably change computers so we get a new IP address.
God, you really
there you
think
go.
about
I mean,
that.
I've never done that before.
I mean,
Same. Just joking.
So if you need any more information, pop onto the website. On the product page, there's loads of information as well. You can give us a call, send us an email, and if you still have any questions, of course, you can put a comment below, and we will try our best to get back to you with all the information that you need. Thanks for watching.
Bye.